everyone. Welcome to the West Orange Board of Education meeting and welcome to West Orange High School. We've already taken roll call in executive session and done the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. We're going to move ahead in our agenda tonight to curriculum and instruction. We have to go back into closed session for the board to review the special education audit with the providers. For purposes of, for legal purposes and just to give them our comments before we present it to the public. Okay. May I please have a motion for curriculum and instruction?
I'll move curriculum 1 and 2.
I second.
Any discussion by the board? Okay. Mr. Calavano, roll call.
Mr. Charles?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Robertson?
Yes.
Vice President Schwartzfeld?
Yes.
President Mordecai?
Yes. Okay. May I have a motion, please, to return to closed session?
I'll
I'll
make a
move.
motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Calavano, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, aye, aye.
We will be back. Ready?
All right.
Okay. We're back. Continuing on the board meeting, we're back. Okay. Continuing on, we're back from executive session, and we have questions on the public agenda. What we moved the rest of the agenda already.
President Mordecai?
Mm-hmm.
We should probably table the presentation. Correct.
Yes. Yes. May I have a motion, please, to table the presentation?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Thank you. And, okay. Roll call?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now it's time for reports from the board president and board members. I have nothing. Anyone?
Nada.
Okay. Okay, the next board meeting will be held this Wednesday, November 29th, and it's specifically for residency hearings. After that, the next regular board meeting will be next Monday, December 4th. Okay, now it's time for petitions from the residents. Mr. Kramer, thank you for waiting.
Tonight I have come before the board. Oh, I guess do I have to give my name and address?
Mr. Kramer, yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Adam Kramer, 20 Moran Road, West Orange, New Jersey. Tonight I've come to the board for an unusual request, and I'm asking the board to create a pretty quick and timely resolution related to the redevelopment of Essex Green. Usually we don't think of the board's role and scope having to deal with land use policy, but there are some things that make this unusual. First of all, the collected redevelopment parcel with the Essex Green itself and the connected offices on Executive Drive combined would be the largest rateable in the town by far. And as it goes up for a vote in early December, there is the potential for the schools to lose a real big piece of revenue. Currently, those parcels at issue, 6 parcels, if my math is correct, pay well over $2.5 million just in taxes towards the school, and closer to 3.5 in total. So I have some real concerns that if the vote by the planning board for redevelopment occurs, there will be abatements, pilots, and potentially land use changes, so that instead of it being a source of wonderful revenue for the school without sending any kids to school, that A, you will lose a lot of revenue, and B, that the use may change and you may have a lot of townhouses, which will put you on a road to having to either build a new school or a new wing to a school. So even though it's a usual request and outside the usual comfort zone, I am going to ask the board for a resolution questioning and opposing this change to our land use policy, as its impact on the school and the financial underpinnings could be profound and negative. Thank you, and I appreciate you listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer, and thank you for your email in that regard as well. The board will take it under advisement and we'll discuss it, and we'll respond to you. Any of my colleagues have a question or comment for Mr. Kramer?
I just want to thank you for bringing this forward, because it is a legitimate concern. Actually, for me, it's personal as well, because I live in Englishtown, adjacent to that. So I'm thinking on a number of different levels. One, when we did the demographic study earlier this year, while it indicated, based upon birth rate, which has not really been the driver in the town, that growth is going to be flat, it left out 80% of the townhouses that are being built on Main Street, and it didn't include, while Essex Green was listed as potential, nobody knew what those units would look like yet, so that was not included in any of the statistics, and it would impact certainly Mount Pleasant, Kelly, and St. Cloud, depending on how that area was districted. So I just want to thank you for bringing that forward, because it is a potential issue in terms of loss of ratables that are contributing to school funding, as well as the potential for residential development that could in fact increase the number of kids in the school district and lead to the need to build more schools.
Oh,
So Adam, is your primary concern the loss of tax revenues versus general development?
Mr.
Yeah.
Kramer, we're taping for TV.
You're lucky tonight. You get to go back and forth. You're the star.
My concern is that, generally speaking, when a planning board calls for an area of redevelopment, it then moves in the direction of pilots and abatements, and then from there off into land use change. Officially, nobody knows exactly what this is, but it's a reasonable assumption to say that there's going to be significant abatements, perhaps a pilot, and probably some land use change in the area of mixed-use development. You can't say that officially, but those are some reasonable assumptions. So by not having it designated as an area in need of redevelopment, you can protect a revenue stream, and you can potentially keep it from becoming residential and adding additional students to a school, which, at least from my perspective, is pretty much close to or over capacity as it is. So that's why I think it would be detrimental to the community and detrimental to the public schools.
Thank you.
Mrs. Lamb?
You had mentioned you would like this sooner than later if we decide to move forward with this. What is the date? I didn't pick up on that. Yeah, hang on.
The planning board will be meeting in the first week of December. I believe December 6th. So if you're going to say something that has, or pass a resolution that has any meaning, it's better to do it sooner rather than later. Assuming you don't, and assuming it passes this hurdle at the planning board, you do have the opportunity later, because it then would go to the town council to hash it out with resolutions and or any formal or informal back and forth with yourselves and the governing body of the town.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Mr. Charles?
No, I'm going to let him sit down.
Great.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Okay, we're going to make a motion to go back into closed session for the purposes of personnel discussions, and we will come out back into public to close out the meeting, but this is the end of tonight's public session. Thank you for being here, and everyone have a good night and get home safe. Make a motion to go into close, please.
I second.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.